REED-BBS, BBS, Black Birch Sugar, Bachelor's in Boxing Studies, Televisión, Fred Sanford of the Fistic Arts. We're gonna call this a blast from the not-so-distant past. Volume 1. One of my absolute favorite fighters, Prince NaseemHamed. Now, from the mid-90s to the early aughts, there wasn't a more complete fistic entertainment package than Prince Ahmed, Naseem Hamed. He was a flashy banger who at one point had a record of 30-0, 28 KOs. My man, he was just different, and simply put, he was fun. British Arab of Yemeni descent, Muslim faith, and black urban swag. There was an undeniable circus or carnival-like excitement to his fight nights. I haven't experienced that before or since Prince Naseem Hamed's fought. Real talk. Everything about him was completely over the fucking top. So quite naturally, motherfucker chose to enter the ring by flipping over the fucking top rope. Makes sense. I'm like, duh, what else would he do? WTF, what the fuck? It wasn't an official acronym just yet, but it was the face you'd make when first experiencing Hamed. Amused, confused, enthused. You had to watch him. Even if you didn't like him, you had to watch this guy. He just drew your attention. It was just something you hadn't seen before. Excellent athleticism, speed of both hand and foot. He had a natural bounce and rhythm to him. He had gymnast level agility. And despite having good footwork, he actually had bad fucking balance. It makes no sense, right? Neither did Prince Naseem Hamed. My man was so unorthodox, he probably wipes his ass different from everybody else. Probably got some weird ass-wiping technique that only he knows about. It wouldn't surprise me at all. As a fighter, getting back to that, he switched stances seamlessly and with purpose. He could punch from either stance, like KO power from either stance. He would sometimes adopt the Mike Tyson pose where Mike would tuck both gloves under his chin and stalk you. Prince would sometimes do that. To say he overcommitted to shots, that would be quite an understatement, because my man would put everything in the shots to the point of lunging and or jumping as he punched at people. His signature punch, it was with either hand. He'd bend at the waist to the left or right, dip a shoulder, and throw a half hook, half uppercut, hooker cut, or uppercut hook, whichever you prefer to call it. Again, with either hand. Fully torqued. It was in the danger zone when he dipped so far, but it was fully torqued. Sometimes with his back foot, other times he'd step diagonally with his lead foot and fire it. And the punch would be sidearm sometimes. Other times it almost looked like a fucking underhanded left or right cross. Just his body, Prince's body contortion and positioning, it was, I hate to keep overusing the same word, but it was just different. It was different. He had unorthodox feints, almost looking like he was pop-locking at times. And in hindsight, he probably was, now that I think about it. Prince, he obviously was not without flaw. He was almost always the shorter dude. He had T-Rex arms, short, thick legs, and a propensity to pull back with his chin in the air with both hands down like an Ali would or a Vitaly Klitschko, only this motherfucker was 5'3". So given that, he was bound to get drilled at times, and he did. He took his fair share of knockdowns, 5 or 6, I believe. But at least half of those, at least 3 of them, 2 or 3 of them, no, 3 of them that I know of were due to poor balance and Hamed putting a glove down to maintain his balance. Still a knockdown, though. Not arguing it, but it was like 3 of them Zab Floyd type knockdowns. Prince had a good chin, though. He had a good chin. To me, he was better at countering. If an opponent brought the fight to him, that was his wheelhouse. But again, them short limbs and the two-fisted power, it resulted in him leading primarily. And you couldn't be mad at that. There could also be lulls. There could be some dead spot in Prince's attack if you could take his power. My man had lots of bang, lots of sizzle, but he wasn't terribly subtle or workmanlike at the same time, which would, he'd have 1 or 2 big rounds and maybe take a round or 2 off, then another 2 big rounds or something to that effect. All in all, though, my man would talk shit. He would taunt you. He would tap his chin, literally laugh at his opponent, dance, gyrate. The British media, some liked it, some didn't. It was an arrogant display. There's a thin line between psychological warfare and tastelessness. This was per some of the British boxing announcers back in the day. Best ring entrances ever. Forever, ever, bar none. Prince NaseemHamed, he's in his own fucking category. When you go best ring entrances, you can't even include him in the category because he's got all the best ones. All the best ones. You got to include other people. He's a category unto himself in that regard. At various points of his career, came out with shades on, a genie-looking head wrap. My man came out on the magic carpet, as you see on the title pic of this video. Laser light shows, pyrotechnics, a lowrider. You see his silhouette dancing, shaking his ass behind a curtain. A lighted runway that would make a fucking fashion model jealous. And all the while, dope-ass hip-hop or club music blaring. Flamboyance and showmanship squared. All in leopard printed trunks, goddammit. If you do nothing else, please, please, please watch Prince NaseemHamed versus Kevin Kelly. From the ring walks to the completion of the fight. I guarantee you'll be highly entertained afterwards. Yeah, it's got bells and whistles, but it was also arguably the best featherweight war ever. Prince, he was basically undisputed featherweight champion, man. He had the WBO belt the whole time. He unified the IBF by KOing Tom Johnson. Then the IBF stripped him. He unified the WBC with a decision over Cesar Soto and was stripped of the WBC title. And he KO'd WBA champ Wilfredo Vasquez, who was stripped for wanting to unify with Prince. So Vasquez had the belt. Then as soon as he stepped in the ring to face Hamed, he was stripped of that title. So yeah, undisputed champ at 126. Fuck that. 15 successful title defenses, final record of 36-1, 31 KOs, and an immeasurable impact on the earning potential of lower weight fighters. All you lower weight motherfuckers that's making $1 million purses now or close to that, you owe a debt of gratitude to Prince NaseemHamed. You done good, Prince. You were fun, you could fight, and quite frankly, I miss you, bruh. REED-BBS. Blackbird Sugar, Bachelor's in Boxing Studies. Televisión. Fred Sanford of the Fistic Arts. When all is said and done, there's nothing left to say or do.